All right, this is team one. Our name is Box Cubed. We are Joshua, Kayla, and Sean, and we will be delivering our project now. Go ahead. So our overall goal was to perform Ode to Joy with a wind instrument, percussion instrument, and a stringed instrument. Our restraints were to keep the price of each instrument under $15, meet the time constraint, and as well fit all of our instruments into a 2x2 by 2 foot box. And we wanted everything to be aesthetically pleasing as well. Go ahead. So our first instrument is the stringed instrument. This is the original design that Kayla came up with, but she was called away kind of on urgent medical and military matters. So her original design was actually played on a cardboard box that would go into the box of instruments, but we later adapted it. Go ahead. It was later adapted to actually fit on the 2x2 box itself. So the only material not included is the rubber bands that would go onto it. Now, the concept for the instrument is that different tensions of rubber bands would create different tones of sound. So she would have a different tension rubber band around the 2x2 by 2 cube, and that would play the notes. Go ahead. Go ahead. The total cost for the box or for the instrument would actually only be the $2 pack of rubber bands, and that's about it, because again, the cardboard box, the actual 2 foot by 2 foot by 2 foot cube, was included in the project constraints. For our wind instrument designed by myself, the original design was a flute that would be played perpendicular, with this being the original concept. Go ahead. The final product looked like this, and it actually ended up being played more akin to a clarinet than a flute. And at this time, I will actually perform a demonstration. Just real quick, here it goes. The only differences made was that other than playing it more like a clarinet than an actual flute, we actually had to use a piece of 1-inch PVC to cover one of the blowholes in order to force the air into the tube to make the vibration. Go ahead. The cost itself came out to $4.25, with 2 feet of the 3/4 inch pipe being 183, 2 feet of the 1-inch pipe being 212, and a wine cork that forces the air in the center. Used wine cork goes for about 30 cents. It fits within one side of the box because it is only 18 inches, and it can be aesthetically altered to fit any theme. Go ahead. The underlying physics behind the wind instrument, real simple. Blowing into the instrument forces air to vibrate within the tube, which creates the audible sound waves that we can hear, and playing different holes or notes just allows the acoustic wavelength to be shortened or lengthened to create different tones or frequencies.
Okay, and I'm Josh. I'll be talking about a percussion instrument. So we're going to play it on the low range for Ode to Joy. But here's the original thought and design, and you'll see that we're pretty close to the original. 9-inch by 6-inch by 3-inch, and basically just flick down these metal tines to be able to create a reverberate sound. Here's a picture of what we actually end up making, and let me go ahead and share what it came out to be. So pretty similar, almost exactly the right size that we're talking about, and it does make sound. Unfortunately, it'll only make the sounds that like however many strings that we have is how many tines is how many notes we'll be able to play at once. So you can lengthen and shorten them to be able to create new notes. So some of the things that we did change is we changed the tines from being more circular to hammered out aluminum to be able to allow more reverberation. We also created a larger opening in the center to be able to make more, be able to amplify the sound greater. And when the good selling points is if we want to be able to create new sounds instead of having to replace the whole box, we could just actually take off the top with more tines that would be on like say a different scale. The great things about some of the changes we made is that we actually reduced the price dramatically. The box is no longer made from a cigar box. It's from just cheap wood. So it's 45 cents for that. $1.32, which will actually make two kalimbas. Zip ties were only approximately 2 cents. Metal tines were actually recycled from other objects, and I think it's a great selling point to be able to recycle from old used things for just a grand total of $1.79. Uh, and then we have also shared a link to what our combined sound actually makes. So feel free to check that out. Just a quick picture of how we'll be able to pack it. We're gonna have lots of extra room inside that 2x2x2 box. And in conclusion, Kayla's gonna be playing a rubber banded box. Sean will be performing on a flute, and I'll play the kalimba. The three instruments are able to perform Ode to Joy. And here's some more. I have to cut this part out again. Here we go.